Hi, Father Craig here from St. Peter's by the Sea in Narragansett, Rhode Island. In this video clip, I'd like to talk to you about some things I have discovered over the past few weeks in being with parishioners when family members are in crisis. One of the biggest challenges of this current state of social isolation and separation due to the pandemic is the inability to be with loved ones when they are in crisis, most especially if they find themselves in the hospital or coming close to death. In this day and time, our usual ways of coping with family crisis is by being with the individual. We're not allowed that right now because of the fear of the spread of COVID-19. And so we have to find other ways of allowing ourselves to be comforted and to be able to cope with crises, especially when we feel so out of control. In the last few weeks, I have spoken and been by phone with several parishioners, all in the same experience. I really don't know what to do, and mostly what I hear from them is a sense of helplessness. I can't help my loved one. I can't be there with them. I don't feel in control. There is nothing that I can offer you to help you feel in control. But I have found that has helped many of these parishioners is the opportunity to allow themselves to stop and enter into a very simple meditation. And most have said this is comforting in the end. And basically, in the midst of our conversation, we identify what's the issue. Is it a sense of helplessness? Is it a worry that our loved ones are lonely and feel alone? And most especially our fear that the person may die alone. And so as we discuss those things, we begin to collect them. And then, as we've collected all the feelings and the emotions, what I ask them to do is to begin to breathe. Breathing is so important. It allows ourselves to center and to kind of let go of all the extraneous stuff that's hitting us from all around and just allows us to begin to focus. And I ask them to breathe and begin to focus on God. And just begin by breathing in and breathing out, recognizing their breath and focusing on it as it goes in. And I also ask them to imagine as they breathe in the breath of God. And when you breathe out all the despair and fear and frustration that you're feeling, and let that just be released. In Judaism, ruach is the word for breath, but it's also the word for Holy Spirit or Spirit. And so it's just a natural movement to begin to visualize the Spirit coming in and the junk of the world going out. And as we begin to focus on our breath, I ask them to begin visualizing God. However you see God, as light, perhaps even as an image of Jesus that has always brought you comfort in the past. And so I ask them to focus in on that image and then to place that image with the individual for whom they are concerned. And I really like using the context or the concept of God as light, the light of love. For God is the source of all love. And then I invite them to talk to God and to ask God to surround their loved one with that light. Or if it's an image of Jesus, to sit with them and to let their loved one know that they are loved, that they're not alone, that not only does God go with them in this time of crisis and fear, but that their loved ones are right there with them in prayer, in worry, and concern. And then just allow God to be the one who shares with them and does for you in your stead all that you would be doing when you would be with that loved one. And just allow yourself to hold that image as you focus on your breathing in and out. And just hold yourself with that, knowing that God is truly with your loved one. And in this time when we can't be there, we have the assurance that God is there. And no matter how much we worry about our loved one being alone, we have the assurance that they truly aren't alone, because God journeys with them, no matter where they may be. Amen. And I hope this gives you comfort in a time of crisis.